I think it's one of the best investments of time that any of us that touch young people can make, is to help them realize the importance of owning their own development and then being able to develop skills that will help them be successful, certainly as athletes in the case of basketball players at the Division I level, but more importantly just as people, because quite honestly that's more important than what you might achieve or accomplish in your respective sport or even your respective job, whatever it might end up being. How you are as a person and being able to have skills that transcend sport, to me, is something that we can't do enough. We can't do too much of in terms of trying to influence our young folks for their future and their success. And I think you've got to look at it from every perspective. Clearly, the work you have to do to be a Division I scholarship basketball player basically is your job when you talk about the schoolwork required, the demands on your time for your sport. But there are also some neat perks that come along with it. The scrutiny and the exposure give you a chance to be known in a unique way. And if you can leverage that while you're on that platform and under that scrutiny in a positive way, then it can serve you well for long after you're done playing and you leave the university. And I think that's one of the messages we try to drive home, or I try to drive home whenever I talk to young athletes, is that you've got a unique ability and a unique position, and make sure you leverage that to its fullest and take advantage of the people you get a chance to meet, the opportunities you get a chance to interact with the media, and the chances you get to develop communication skills and opportunities to learn how to network and engage with people that may be different than you. So I think all of that is really beneficial, and it has to be emphasized on a regular basis to young student athletes, so they begin to recognize the opportunity they have for their own growth. I think we all have to do a better job, those of us in the media, those of us at institutions, to control the story and the narrative about the positive stories that are out there. The tendency is for the news to gravitate to the negative. We can't completely change that, but we can be more intentional about highlighting those positive stories and those positive examples and those folks that are doing things the right way and handling their opportunities and responsibilities as student athletes. And sometimes we don't do enough of that, and quite honestly the media tends to gravitate towards the negative side of that equation. But I think we can do more to highlight those young men and women that are the examples that we'd like to see out there more than not. Oh, without question. I think one of the things that my wife and I really try to impress upon our young athletes, a daughter and two sons that played volleyball and basketball and soccer respectively, is really three things is what we tried to foundation our support on, and that was encouraging the right attitude in how you treat people and how you handle yourself in every circumstance. The effort that you put forth to do the best you can in the classroom, in your dealings with other folks, and in your respective sport. And then your faith in God being the foundation of how you're going to frame your worldview, and then being able to try to live that out in every area. So those are things, your attitude and your effort and your faith, that you have control over, and parents actually should be mindful of trying to model controlling those things. And then encouraging your kids to be fully engaged in their development, and to give them a good example of how to go about enjoying athletics, trying to excel in athletics, but not neglecting the development of that inner man and woman, and also that intellectual man and woman. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that athletes sometimes wrestle with. If I could rewind, I would be much more intentional about taking advantage of the opportunities that a university affords you. Some of it is hard because of the time constraints and the demands for their respective sport. But that being said, there are some unique opportunities you have, and you have to just prioritize trying to carve out time to take advantage of those people that can move you along in your own growth, that can help you think about another career path outside of your sport, or even within your sport that may not be playing, and being able to look beyond just defining yourself as an athlete. I think that's one of the toughest challenges that we face with those that are able to get to this level of athletics, is not allowing that to be the definer of their identity. That the identity they present has to be much more multi-dimensional and well-versed than simply playing the game. And that's a challenge, but that's a worthwhile fight to get our young student athletes to realize they're more than just an athlete on scholarship. They've got an awful lot to offer, and they've got some other areas where they can make a contribution too. They just need to be exposed to them and develop the skills to be effective in some other areas. Man, he's the rock of our team, quite honestly. He's the lion in the locker room. His example exemplifies what you want to see in a pro's pro, between the lines, in his personal life, in the locker room. We're so thrilled to have him, and I'm looking forward to him continuing to impact our team in the short term, but also he's helped raise the bar in setting a foundation that I think will last whenever he decides to hang him up. But he's exactly what you look for in a leader, in a professional, in a high-level producer, and a quality person.